All right. Let's try to do a take two on this. Left the cover screen up. Nobody said it despite talking to me in chat. So finally, somebody said it, and I saw it. So now we got no cover screen. So I'm reworking the elevator here and the door. So the door is going to be flush line. It goes in, and then new elevator here. Might actually have to put a third door to try to get a proper cover so I can park stuff, like do a multi-stage elevator, but I gotta kind of decide what I want to do with that. But we've got that door there. Let's work on this. What I might do is just do a frame and then ramps. I think that's probably likely what I'm looking to do there. So probably something like that. I don't know. I kind of want to flush mount it. I don't know. Having a flush mounted door could be kind of cool. So essentially you do it like that, and then this door will drop into the slot. And then the door will come up from the bottom and drop into a slot. So it'd be something like this. I'd have to raise the floor up one to do this. Yeah, we'll decide on it. Let's go up one for now. I think that's starting to complicate it more than I really want or need to for no reason. And then the more moving bodies we have, the greater the likelihood of problems. So try to keep the problems to a minimum here. All right, so that's in, and then this is the elevator door now. Um, all right, so do that, flush mount it, I think, and then to count how many blocks I got to go up. I need to push that door in at least 2 blocks up, which means the elevator shafts have to go down 2. Doesn't need a seal here, but I think it looks better like this. Measure the middle. That is what, 47. So 24. All right. We need 2. So I think if this is proud, that will actually be better. All right. I think I'll definitely get rid of the frame. Okay. Now I want to flush mount it again. I'm trying to decide, like things like putting in containers and everything are going to be much better served if it's flush mounted. So, and then the pit's not a huge problem to deal with, so we'll do this. And then we'll go and we got to seal this up. So let's go from here to... There we go. Trying to decide like all the features I want, like the ability to put containers in. So all that stuff needs to have it be a certain way. So we're working on that to try to make that work. Alright, so that will have a tiny pit in there. Measure this for the 8th time, because now I can slide the containers right across, so. Alright, and I need to go, let's see. At least 2 blocks down, which is why I wasn't pitting originally. Because I have to cut out these, which isn't the end of the world, and then put in... That's not the end of the world. Alright. that's good. Good, that's all good there. Nah, it's not gonna work there either. Let's try this, see if that's enough. That's that, and then this one's gonna go sideways. I have it going the other way, don't I? That's right. Alright, that's good. Make a quick micro for both of these. Alright, this is gonna be top door. First thing we need is a panel. I do have the panel for the elevator already made, so this will be top door. Alright, let's go. Composite. Let's see. And then what do we need here? We need a number output for up, down. And we need a number output for forward, back. Alright, that looks good. Alright, good. let's make this all part of one is what we'll do actually. So let's see. We have this microcontroller here somewhere. This one here. I don't know why I brought that gauge with me, but I didn't. Or dial. All right, we'll see if I have a sneezing fit. So that's up, down for the elevator, and then we have top door. All right, good. That's going to be toggle button. All right. So that's the elevator. That all works good, works well, and then we'll need to add let's see. All right, forward back, and then at some point I'll do grippers on that maybe. But I might even not even need to, and then we have the release, and then where's the seal? All right, door seal. All right, so we got a bunch of logic we'll work with. We're going to make it pretty manual at the moment. So we have that, and then we have 2. It's going to be the actual door. So if we press 2, so it'll be negative to the up, down. All right, I'm going to make this manual door seal for now. What I'll do is I'll add 4, and then we're going to automate a lot of this so it's single button press essentially. So what we want it to do is we want it to seal when the elevator seals it. We also want it to seal when that seals it. So we'll do that for now. All right. Alright, so that's good, and then let's hook up the other ones. So this is linear track. That's not helpful. Alright, linear track, that's on elevator. Linear track elevator now. Alright, top door forward back is going to be these side ones. Yeah, that's good. That's linear track elevator. Let's do this real quick before I forget. Okay. So that's my ballast tank. I don't want that filling right now. Top door up down are these. Those are good. We have hangar door release. It's going to be on this one. That's brake. And that's going to be the seal. Alright, let's, what's that? Sealed is just that, and then composite still should be hooked up. Alright, let's play with this. Alright, so we should be able to press the door. Alright, seal's true. Alright, let's see what's up with this. Okay, because I didn't put a number in there yet. Okay, that's good. Let's see why it's stopping. Should not be stopping. I don't know why. Let's get myself close to it, see if I can get it to work. There's a little bit of friction on there somewhere. really getting sick of my mouse wheel being annoying. I'm gonna probably put grippers on here to help keep this door to seal up properly, but I'll work with this first. If you don't know why I'm putting them sideways, putting them sideways, they lock into position. So it's one of the best locks in game. And so instead of having like multiple or infinite positions, it essentially just gives you the two spots and they'll snap into place. So it's helpful to keep things aligned. So it's again a good alignment tool. I don't really even think I need the brake, do I? I don't need the brake. Not that I heart for space on the panel, but if I don't need it, I'm not going to use it. Alright, so these should be... I'm going to get rid of this. And then what we'll do is an up-down counter, and then it'll be 0.001. Actually, do I want it that slow? Okay. So let's see. If I press 2, which is the door, I want it to go up. Not. And then if we'll start with that. Let's just try to do it like that, see if this works for us. It may. All right, let's try that. All right, so I got another thing we'll add on here that will help, I think. Let's see. No, I didn't do door release. Door release needed to be done first, so let's play with that first. All right, so if we do that, I need to release the door. All right, that's the problem. Is the door locked? It never dropped, so I probably don't need this sensor that I was building. Let's try it. All right, so it's down. Should take an allergy something. All right, so that's the forward back. All right. Yes, the door release definitely worked. Forward back is still connected. Let's manually control this for now. And that way it will tell me if it's because it's hanging up or not. Alright. That is getting jammed up somewhere. Alright, that's sealed up now, right? I gotta see if this is hitting here. Yeah, that's one thing you gotta worry about with the corners of square blocks is they can hang up. They're very sharp, and so they were hitting, and that was part of the problem. So we got a problem there. There we go. Okay. Again, we want this to be pretty much foolproof, always work, and so that's something we have to work on. So this will have the door go down one more block, so that there's just less chance of hitting. Yeah, so that pretty much guarantees, because it has like that little bit of friction it was hitting stuff. Yeah, so that takes a lot of that away. Especially because they're going to be moving, so the likelihood of that hitting is even greater. So make sure that's all the way back. Yep, that aligns pretty well, so. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so likely what's hitting are these pieces, so we can work those. But get all the friction out as much as we can, and the places where it can bind, and this is where I get it's frustrating for a lot of people, but it's like this is where you can really fix a lot of your problems, is doing this. What we'll do is, let's not rush this, let's do this. Let's get all of that. That's not going to fix what I need, because then it's going to have to go down one more block. No, this will work. We'll play with it. This is why it's annoying in the small builds, because you need all this stuff for the small builds, where this... Okay, that just is going down one block again, that's not gonna work. I need to add some unders on this, that's fine. Come on, go back. Press B, go back, thanks. Shit, that takes forever when you don't just do what I'm asking. Alright, there we go. Because this is such a big build, it doesn't really matter or look weird that it's like doing this. Yeah, if it's tiny and you have to move it 2 blocks, like, to get a little door in, you're like, oh, it's taking up too much space. It's so big, it doesn't really matter. Alright, that's 2, and then... Alright, where is this? What's the deal here? We're still having some binding issues here that I have to work on. Do I brute force this with more linear tracks is a question. It's got plenty of gap. It's these hitting, I think, up here. These linear tracks are binding here. The gripper should be helping with that. Could move them down to the bottom. Do that. It didn't grab any of those. That's real friggin' annoying. Ideally, what we're trying to do is get anything that's touching gone. That will help. Fuck. Those are all attached now. That looks good. That's all attached. All right. How's it going there, Rasmus? Going well. Doing well. I got a problem here. Let's see what the hell that problem is there. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm redoing the door here to make it a little bit fancier and more reliable, so. Okay. What the fuck happened here? Why is it binding now? It's got nothing to bind on. Come on, give me... Won't give me the page up on it. Let me see. I'm looking weird there. No. Yeah, there's a merge problem there. Alright. Something didn't get merged. Yeah, it's right here. Alright. That didn't get merged. Again, it's one of those things, like, generally it's something you did. You know, like, and you gotta also think about, in any game, clipping. So clipping's also important, blocks touching one another. You gotta be careful of that, so. Alright. Let's try putting the door back. that? Having problems there. Where is this hanging? Got a little bit of an alignment problem, and it doesn't want to get in the hole. It's annoying. So one thing we can do here is, again, try to lock in the alignment. So they have, I'm trying to think of the term. It's essentially locators. So essentially you're trying to locate things. You're trying to locate where something is supposed to be sitting. And so by putting in, like, for example, I'm putting in a side one here at the end, that's going to locate it so that it wants to be in alignment with where it needs to be. So when it gets to here, that should lock, and then that will make it so that it wants to grab. I'm trying to think here. So what we're going to do is this. We'll try to see if the locators help us. So these two grippers here will try to grab that and hold it in proper alignment. So that will detach them. And now when it goes back, that should hold it hopefully exactly where it's supposed to be. So there can't be any variance because, like, we're using these linear tracks. They could be off a little bit. And that will, so now what we're going to do is click it off. So this should grab that vertical one. And you might see it pop into place. Yeah, so it popped right where it's supposed to be. Now hopefully the door's aligned. It's still fucked. Okay, there it went. So that's, yeah, that was better aligned, so now it grabbed. Alright, so let's go. We'll run it a couple times, make sure it's working right. Then what we'll do is we'll probably put some distance sensors in so that it doesn't... so now that can grab. So what we'll do is we'll look at it and we'll see if it's grabbed. Alright, so now it should be grabbed, and then we'll put the door up. Perfect. So that locates it properly. Alright, let's see what's up with the lifters of this door. Alright, so those are looking good. Positives up. Okay, so this needs a release. So what we'll do is we'll manually release that for now. Actually, I think it had a release on it, didn't it? That's gripper brake. Yeah, the gripper brake shouldn't be on here. Okay, the release got hooked to the wrong one. So release should be on the doors. This here should be release. And then this here is going to be grip or brake, and that is braking the elevator. So let's work the elevator. And then the elevator should be able to seal, so when we're, if we could take any water over the top, that should be fine. All right. That should be 1. I gotta release it. So like it's kind of good when you're trying to like figure out this logic, especially initially when you're a new player. Like a good way to do it is to do it like this: have different buttons and different actions, and you say, okay, I need this action, and then this action, and then this action. Then you put it in the microcontroller, and you essentially program all those in, so that one button or a couple buttons now will do all the things that that was doing. All right, good. So let's go up on the elevator, and we should be able to. I gotta change the way the elevator works. So this should come all the way up. Okay, and it's not. Let me check if it's a reach problem. It's probably a reach problem. Yeah, it's a reach problem. All right, how many blocks? 1? 2 blocks? Okay, so I'm still 2 blocks off. I need to go take some Flonase or something. So still 2 blocks off. All right. That's good. Nope, that needs to, okay, that's got to stay like it is. All right, that's fine. I don't necessarily need to lock in the bottom. That's fine. All right, and then we need to come up the sides here. Actually, I want to go from the bottom. All right, good. Let's go ahead and we'll run that elevator. I need to fix it so that it is, let's see. Linear track elevator, what's the deal here? Door speed 0.25, and then I gotta see what the button's doing here. Should be push. 3 should be push. Why is this then? It wouldn't stop. All right. All right, so X or Y, and then we're just going to do a not X or Y. There we go. And that's going to reset it to 0. We actually don't need that. If the... yeah, that works. All right. How's it going there, Daniel? Yep, working on the sub. It's going to be a home sub, so not just cargo. It's going to be vehicles and everything else. So. All right, so the sliding door is working reliably now. We got the elevator coming up, and the elevator will stop anywhere I put it. So, like, one of the cool features here, I'll show you in a second, is, so let's say we put the elevator there. Well, I'm going to be able to store something underneath the elevator. I can store something on the elevator, and then I can have the door closed. So I can put it in any position, so it gives me a lot of versatility. So things like I was talking about, like having a locator there that makes sure it locks it where it needs to be. The other thing you could use is a hard point. That would work. All right, so that. So now you see it got close and then it went in. So that's good. So then we'll go 1, and we'll bring the elevator all the way up. But now you can put the elevator in a position, and that allows you to, like I said, stack things, put things underneath the elevator, move around a little bit more freely. And then if you want to run with the elevator all the way up, this elevator should come up in here and seal as well. So we can seal. So one of the reasons why I didn't just do the elevator as a sealing door, which is what I was originally going to do, is so now the problem is, okay, so we bring our helicopter down on the okay, so let's say we do this. Let's say we load in some cargo containers. We load in some cargo containers and we put them up here. They slide up. They'll slide up into this hangar area here. All right, so they're up here and they're slid in. The problem now becomes if I want to bring my helicopter and I put it in the hangar door and the hangar door comes down and there wasn't that sliding door, well, now I have no place to put the helicopter. So I can't seal my top door. I can't submerge. And so I can't take the containers, too. I can't take 2 helicopters, for example. So one thing I could do is you put the cargo containers on, you put them in, you slide them to the forward slot, you put the helicopter on the elevator, and then you go ahead and you lower the elevator all the way down or partially down, and then you can go ahead and you can close this door. And now you have the capability to store the containers in the front, the helicopter on the elevator door, and you can still seal and operate a submarine. So that's why I wanted to do that feature. You know, originally I was just going to do the door, but then it's completely useless at that point. You lose its space. So, but now we can do that. And being able to put this at any level is helpful. I really wish grippers weren't as big as they are. That's really kind of annoys me. I'm going to get rid of this bulbosity here for a minute. Yeah, so I think there's a much more elegant solution to the hangar door now. You know, so I wanted as much versatility as possible. Like, I definitely want to be able to take some cargo containers in there and then still be able to do the home ship function. That's part of the whole thing with a home ship is, like, if I put the cargo containers in there, I can send the submarine off to go to wherever I'm delivering those to, and then I can go launch the helicopter and go do a mission. So it gives it that versatility. So that's working pretty reliably. We'll clean up some of the mechanism here. And we'll see if this hangs up, because this could hit too, so we gotta... I really should have, let's do this. Let's be smart about this. Alright, let's save this. It's not gonna take me long to fix it if I... But it's even shorter if I don't screw it up in the first place, so let's do that. Alright, so that's good. Let's delete off this stuff. Alright, good. So now that, we'll try it. We'll work this, make sure this is all clean, works. But that just cleans it up a little bit. And then that is just... like that. Alright. And especially with... You got to think too, the other thing in game where a lot of people don't think is the vehicle's going to be moving. So you have the force of the vehicle moving forward fighting the door. So you need to make sure you have enough strength on there for that as well. Alright, very good. Alright, so ideally what I want the main door is to be a one button push on off, so we'll consolidate everything now to get that into one button essentially. Alright, so let's go ahead and work on that. Let's speed the elevator up a little bit too. So one thing I did there is I put it in where I can easily change the, it's called door speed, it should be called elevator speed. Originally it was the door as well, so if we find that, this is going to be elevator speed. And I'm going to increase it. There we go. Alright, that's good. Alright, so let's see how we want to do this. So we're going to read some sensors. Again, we want this never to hit. So you do this a couple ways. So one way you can do this is a distance sensor. So what we'll do is I think we'll park the distance sensor right here. And this gives us a bunch of things we can use it for all at once. So for example, one is it's going to read off of this gripper here. Let's see. So first thing is when this gripper is in the way, it's not going to allow the door to go to stow, because that means that this is up in this. It's not, has not slid down yet. So that's English me speak. All right, so we're going to grab a dial here and read the distance sensor in its two positions. All right, so 0.75. So let's see, door up, is going to be 0.75. And then we want to drop the door down. And now it's at, was that a 0.5? Okay, so the door is in the way now. All right, so that works. And so this should be at 0.5. So if it's less than 0.5, or if it's less than, say, 0.6, then the door will go. All right, so let's do that. All right, door locator release. All right, distance sensor. All right, this is the all right, so if the door sensor is less than 0.6, we want to do the door locator release. If it's not there, that will make sure that doesn't move. All right, what's the release? Okay, release is, gotta change the name of that. Elevator release there. Let's see. Alright, so that's the door up and down. So if I push the button, I want the door to go down. So that's fine. I don't want this to go forward and back. There's Boolean. Let's just do an and. Be tidier. Alright, so I want it to, I want the door to come back. Let's work on the top one first. So up, down. So I want it to come down when I push the button. I don't want it to go back up. Trying to think of how to do it with the distance sensor. Let's see. All right, so I want it to go down when I push the button. It's fine. It can stay down when I push the button. It's going to come back up under a couple conditions. All right, so when I push the button, I want the door locator to release. That's fine. Okay. And then I don't want it to go back up and down until the distance is what? Try to think. I gotta look at the distance sense, see if I can do one for everything. The problem is the gap. I need to find a spot where there'll be no gap for the distance sensor. So what I should do is this here. So that right there will even that will be fine. And you just need a second distance sensor is frankly the best way to do it. Now it's doing that weird bug somebody was talking about. You duplicate it and it's giving you dual info. Alright, there we go. So we'll read the other distance sensor, where it is when the door is in place. So it's about 0.25. D sensor 2.25. Alright. It's adding a lot of sensors and whatnot, but it does make it just more likely to be able to not hit things. So I could do that. No, I can't. Okay. Let's see. Distance sensor door. Track. Alright, that's good. Alright, so let's see. This is for the door, so the distance sensor door is good. So we want that to go. We want to go down when we press the button at all times. That's fine, and we don't want to go back up until the other distance sensor. The hell am I? Not Y. And not X and Y. Okay. Not X and Y will make it go negative. Ideally, we want this to shut off when it's done, but I'll work on that next. All right, so that should work. We're going to go test it real quick. So this essentially should keep it from when we try to shut the door coming up until it's ready to go in. So we got to work the door before we can get to that. So let's move this shit down. All right, next thing we need door forward and back. So this one's working off the distance sensor door. So we want it to go positive, which is out. It's going to be a bool on that as well. Alright, so we want it to go out when we push the button, which is X. That sensor should be the distance sensor door should stay on the door frame. So let's fix that. Let's try and do them all in one, but now we're going to split. This is better if it's moved. The number's going to change too, so I got to screw with it. Let's see. Less than point. Should say less than 1. I gotta see what it looks like when it goes down too, though. That's the problem. Okay, I can test it this way. All right. So 0.25. So 0.25 is where it's looking at the gripper. And then it's going to go increased as it goes through a no zone. I could always put in a half block too to stop that. And then we got to see what it's going to look like when it's all the way down. So, all right, so that goes 26, and that's the problem is it can look through the door because it's touching it. So when it's touching it, it's looking through the door all the way to the end. So got to move where it is. So it's not a big deal. We can move that down. All right, so that's going to be when it's, should be, we'll move it down, we'll see what it looks like. Could do a pressure switch too. Let's, what is it? Contact? That's it. Contact sensor. Do a contact sensor. Try that. I haven't done one of those in a while. All right, with the contact sensor, and that's, it will allow this to go out. Alright, that's that for the door. And then why was this named wrong? Distance sensor. Door gantry. Alright, and then I need to read its number. .25. Alright. Alright, so the door will actually go up there when it's less than that, and the button is not pressed. Okay, that's good. Alright, good. That's good. Then the door release. So this is when we want to move it. So when we want to move it, we want to go positive, which is the 1. That will also do this, that gripper door release. And then the door seal will be, oh, that's door locator release is what I want, actually. Door locator release is what I'm looking for. Try to name these so I can remember them. Then the door release is going to be the seal. This one's going to require a little bit more logic because the elevator is also going to work the seal. So what we could do is pretty much any time the door is at 0, well, it should 0 once it's sealed. I got a bunch of stuff I need to work on, but that's a good start. All right, let's. So that should do all the door functions with one button. Let's go test it out, make sure it works. Door locator release is this one. Okay. And I'm also going to do that for now, just to get this seal to come undone. All right, let's run it, see if I got all that hooked up right. All right, so the door should be sealed. All right, door sealed. The lock is false. That's fine. And that just screwed us. All right. I get why that screwed us, so let's undo that. Alright, so that dropped it, but it's not moving yet. So let's see what the send command is on these linear tracks. If I can see them somewhere. Alright, so slider speed showing 0, so something's up with that. Can you give me the workbench? Thanks. So I gotta make sure that is touching the contact sensor. Alright, so door contact sensor. Alright, this needs to be fixed. So it's gonna be X and Y. So when the door contact sensor and I push the button are both triggered, it will have us go to 1, which will have it slide forward and back. And then if the button is not pressed, it's going to go and have us go negative, which is going to bring it backwards. And then the door locator release, when I send the door back and forth, it's going to release it. When I don't, it's going to... Yep, that works. All right. Make sure those are facing the correct direction. Yep, all right. All right, so the contactor is... No, contactor where it's supposed to be. I don't know why that's not pushing it, though. Why it's not going. I wish you could fly and then check shit. So the contactor definitely should be pushed. Make sure I plug that in. I may not have plugged it in. I didn't plug it in. That's why. All right, that'll do it. I like the contactor as an idea. The problem is they don't let you spawn it there. What the fuck? Why is this not working now? Why are we not transiting? We have the contactor. It's pushed. Now we're having a hang-up problem I gotta figure out. There we go. That went down fine on its own now. Contact sensor is true. So these linear tracks should be showing a 1. They're not. Why? Alright, so it's something in the logic I gotta look at. Alright, so it's got to be X and Y. So X and Y, so the contact sensor in that should be increasing this. Yeah, so if I push 2, 2 is X. And the contact sensor is Y. Why is this not working then? Increment of 1, so we're pushing that. It's counting up. Now it's not reliably going up and down, which I don't get. Because it's hanging up on the contact sensor, I bet. So I can move the contact sensor. Let's move the contact sensor, see if that gives me better reliability. I don't want to cut my reliability at the moment. We'll just do this. Why is it not going down now? So far up now, I can't read these things. There it goes. It's being wonky. Now the contactor is lit. I'm gonna go hit the head real fast. Alright, I'm back. Alright, the light's on. I don't know why this isn't feeding it right. Let me make sure I plug them in right. Maybe I didn't move the number over. Or move the line over is probably what I didn't do. Alright, so that's why. I just didn't do this. It's me being stupid is what it is. Alright. That's usually the case. It's usually something you've done. That's something I did. So when people are kind of baffled why adding weight makes things work a little bit more reliably. Fuck, why is this off now? It's given hierarchy to the biggest components and the heaviest components off often, and then it's doing the relationship between them. So it's kind of why it does that. I don't have any place. I still can go up there though. All right, let's look. All right, showing one. Why are we not? Okay, the release has got to be not released. No, it's released. All right, something's fucked up here. Oh, I have two of them, and I didn't do both of them. That's all it is, I think. I have two of them, and I think it's connected on the other side. It's not doing it. All right, that's the locator there. Yeah, and I didn't release the other one, so that's got to be there. Because I changed which it was. I was using the door one, and on that one, so that's why. All right, there we go. So that's looking pretty good there. All right, good. And then we'll go ahead and off should move it back. All right, why is off not moving it back? Okay, let's see. All right, so let's see. Okay, because I just did this for a second because that was a test. All right. There we go. That should fix that. Let's do a test, make sure this works. All right, good. Send it back. Now the door shouldn't try to come up until that distance sensor gets within 0.3. All right, it's catching somewhere. All right, that's working pretty reliably. I'll weight it up a little bit. The entirety of the weight of this thing is going to be enormous. So what we can do is any of the door segment here, what we're going to do is we're going to beef this up so it looks kind of beefy anyway. And we can add some weight by battle cans. I'm also going to decorate this more later. Just one short. Yeah. What's up? It's just less than 3. Yep, stand by. We might crash him. Should it not be 0.25 instead of 0.3? Oh, 0.25 is less than 0.3. God damn, it's gonna crash, and I gotta go grab the... Alright, I'm rebooting. Alright, let's see. Let's grab the last one. Alright. Shit. Gotta go in the backups. I should have gone there first in the backups, but... That was a minute ago, so it's got it. Alright, it's got the backup. Symmetry, please. Come on, man. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. I gotta get in a better habit of looking at that. Part of it too is it's getting jammed up because like it has grippers going and it has linear tracks, and by also adding the weight, it wants to slide down more readily. That's perfect. That's working really well now. I like this door best. This is looking good. That's really good. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and gotta fix our ballast tank because I screwed with that. It's not too bad. I just put in the elevator mechanisms here, and then we've got the actual elevator door there, so I gotta work that out. Alright, that's fine. That's got that, and then I gotta work out right here, so. See how much ballast I have in here, how much, this is what a big ship should look like, and it's why when people are like pumping massive quantities of water, and it's like, if you would just do some hard ballast, you'd really solve a lot of those problems. So you're not needing insane amounts of water ballast. All right, good. So that is now sealed up, again, the ballast tanks. Stop. Alright, so that's our ballast tanks filled back up. Like, you see how much battle cannon, like, this thing weighs right now 202,000. So, alright, so that should be sealed back up. So let's go ahead and turn the water back on. And it sinks. Alright, good. There's it's going into some areas it's not supposed to. I gotta fix it, but it's going. Where the hell is it going right now that I don't want it to go to? Should let it rip there for a second and then see what the. Oh, I gotta fix around here too, maybe. Look here. Make sure this is all. Yeah, it's right here is the problem. Okay. Right here. Because that was filling the entire submarine up with water, and that's, of course, not going to work. Alright, that should now be sealed. And one thing we can do is we can let's just launch it, see what it does. Yep, so that's fixed. Alright, so we're going to need to add more hard ballast because you can see, even with that ballast tank full of water, it's not sinking. How's it going there, Jay? How are you? I want to get this elevator this elevator indoor system kind of finished. So the next thing we need to work on is the door seals. The other thing I want to do is put a locator on this side. Alright, and now we'll just lock the door in position there. Let's see, door locator rear. Could just use a braking action, but that still doesn't always work well. Alright. And then this one's essentially if the door is going negative, do that. What's all this bullshit down here? Seal door. This is the door seal. So door seal should be pretty simple. If the elevator is moving, no, we want to be able to move the elevator. So if the elevator is moving and the top door is set to down. You want to release? Uh, I'll have to think about this. Yeah, I'll have to think about the door seal. Alright, we'll think about the door seal. Let's move on to something else. Let's save this for a bit. That's in good shape. Alright, we left that in good shape. Let's go in here a little bit. Visually, I don't like this section here, so what I'm going to do is... I don't like this section here. Let's leave it for now. I don't know what I want to do with that yet. I might just keep it simple. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Alright, let's start looking inside here. So there's going to be a lot of the interior space is going to be in here. That's all hangar, and then this is pretty cavernous, so I can do quite a bit in here, so. Like, to put it into perspective, let's say each floor should be 9. So, like, that is 9. That's 9. So you can see how much space we have in here. And then more ballast in the front there. That's like how many decks we could theoretically have here. And then we have a bunch of space in here too, so. Take it for a quick run. This feels pretty good in here now. So we are doing 29 knots above the surface, and then we do like 65 under. One of the things that's a lot of fun to me is doing, is like making the accessory vehicles for particular home ships and stuff. Eventually, when it spawns. And so, like, I kind of use Chickadee just as a size example, but, like, I would love to make some purpose-built craft for this, and it's like, that's how you stay interested in the game sometimes, too, is it's like, keep going from... What's my park and brake release? 6? Chickadee is very fast. Chickadee does about, easily does 250 knots. There it is, all right. I'm on the door. That's not a good thing. I should have opened that door first before I brought Chickadee in. But yeah, just proof of concepting type of work here. There you go. You see Chickadee goes in. Where's the park break? 6. Alright, why is the door not closing? Because I didn't hook the switch up for the release there, but like you can see there, Chickadee fits in well. And so like I was talking about, if I didn't have that sliding door, I would have to move Chickadee up front to be able to get the door closed to submerge. Now I don't. Chickadee can sit there, that door can close, but if we wanted to, we can also do this. We can also push Chickadee up out of the way of the elevator so that we can bring more vehicles on. I'm thinking of putting a crane on the door here that goes up with it, and so the crane can also crane stuff on and off. But like now you see, okay, so Chickadee is stowed. Let's see, what about 6? So let's say we wanted to do containers. What we'll do as well is, and we'll work on that in a minute, is the elevator, you're going to be able to load the containers on, then slide them onto tracks ahead, so you can put containers up front if you want. We'll do a gantry crane on the ceiling so that it can also pick stuff up. And then the elevator can be used again to get more vehicles, or we can close the door. So that's good. Let's grab Chickadee. I should have named Chickadee, but here. Alright, so that's Chickadee. Back. And I like Chickadee, but I'll probably make a new vehicle at some point for it. Very much purpose-built for the job. Alright, so I need to work on the close mechanism. Where was that? That is right here. Door forward locator release. That didn't get plumbed, so that's probably why the door wouldn't close. Gotta have a laborious process of going through and making it work with like buttons and that. I know some people like to go right to the microcontroller, but like I find it easier to get rid of stuff that's not gonna work right away doing it this way. And there, the door closes fine. So what we'll do is we'll put a helipad kind of symbol on the elevator. All right, good. That's working well. Let's continue working on ballasting again. So let's go in the back here. I want to keep putting ballast in. Again, we don't want too much water required to get this thing to sink. Or else then you're like, oh, the pumps aren't pumping fast enough and it's taking forever. And so by kind of using effective ballasting techniques, you can get around that. We can also drop the floor down in the engine room and make more space for us. But the more heavy weight you can get in there, and I talked about this before, is the benefit of that as well is you can also start to delete out weight as you add things like engines. So you put a but you get your boat nice and flat, and people do this where they build their hull and yay, it's sitting right, and then they put in engines like, oh, it's crooked, I gotta fix it. Well, put in the ballast, get it ballasted right, and then as you put in, say, 20,000 units of mass, 20,000 kilograms of engines, well, you pull out 20,000 kilograms of ballast where those engines were. And so it makes it real simple to do the corrections for mass. And again, as you can see, they're going nice and low. We're gonna, I'd like to get a crane on this, so that's helpful with a crane. Alright, I think it was like a 20 something, was it 200? It was like 202, I think, thousand, and now it's two whatever it is, 212. All right, so that's in there, and then we'll put in some in the front. We got a lot of space to put in the front, but let's drop it. It should sit tail heavy now, or stern heavy. Still a little bit forward. No, it's stern heavy. Good. This has a full water complement in the front. What we'll do is I'll lower the floor, and the water ballast will go all the way through the back too. So I probably added about 10,000 in the rear. So let's make sure we bang in 10,000 here. It's like people ask why cruise ships, they look like they're very, very top heavy, why they, don't tip over, and it's because they look top heavy, but they're not. The heaviest components are way, way low. Water, fuel, things like that. A lot of tugboats, they don't take on water ballast. The fuel is their ballast. They need to run around at pretty much full fuel all the time because that fuel is important for them to be stable when they're towing ships. And you start looking at what this thing weighs. This thing weighs 212,000 mass now. Container is like 1,000 something. So, like when you see me able to crane containers on and off my ships, it's because the ship weighs a lot, like a ship should weigh. And so the container is pretty damn inconsequential. And yes, you start running into some issues with, you know, when you're, what do you call it? It's underneath there. You know, when you're craning things on, you start getting torque from the lever arm and how far the distance is. But, you know, that's about all you're getting. All right, so, you know, and it's still trying to move an enormous vehicle, so it's not going to do it. What is that? Oh, that's the elevator. Okay. Wasn't in the back yet. All right, so now we need to put in a floor here. And that's where we'll knock down the floor of the engine room. We can make the engine room a little bit shorter. All right, there we go. All right, so now we've got all the water in there. This should sink, hopefully, from here. And if not, we still have plenty of place to put more weight ballast in there. Yeah, so we still got a lot of space to put in more ballast. We got a couple blocks in the rear, and we got that. So right now, it should be all full of water. The ballast tanks. Let's look. Can't see it here. I'm in the build. That's why it's doing that weirdness. And then if we come in the front here, which is going to be a bunch of where, you know, we've got a room here with good ceilings, all of this space here. And then we've got 3 decks there. Starts to narrow out a little bit up here, but still some good space in there. And then we've got, we'll square off the walls and probably put walking corridors above the fuel tanks here. I gotta look at this. This is doing weird graphical shit here, which I don't want it to do. Yeah, you can see some of the graphical shit going on. I'll fix that, but should be able to get this ballasted up properly where we're not having to pump massive quantities of water in. Yeah, so we're up to, what, 225,000 mass now. You know, keep in mind too, like people are always like, "Oh, you know, I wish you could pump faster," and I get it, but it's also like, imagine how much more water you need. Like, let's see what the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is like they talk about how like they wish we had more buoyancy. Like, this thing is so friggin' buoyant. Look at all the weight I'm putting in here, and you could, you know, and the issue is if you start to get this much buoyancy, you need to have so much ballast in order to counteract it. So what are we up to now? 250,000? The other thing too is everybody wants to do this negative buoyancy. You don't. You want to do neutral buoyancy. Like I can use just the pitch of this to go underwater now, no problem. So like here, let's go for a run. It's not completely sinking like a stone yet. We don't need it. Now the thing you want is, the reason why you want it to be neutrally buoyant is when you get to a stop, you want it to stay. You don't want it to go underwater. Now you might want to make it a little bit negatively buoyant so that yes, it will stay on the bottom if you want that. But it doesn't have to be by much. It just has to be by a tiny little bit. And so now you see I'm keeping it leveled off by just the trimming my pitch here on my elevators. All right, so we're doing 31 knots here. So if you haven't seen, this is the engine room. So I'm going to go down on the floor a little bit, give me some more headroom in here. I'd like to go nuclear again, we'll see. Alright, so now I just need to trim down a little bit. And I'm still a little bit positively buoyant. And I can steer us down. Let's do this real quick. Okay, vehicle damage is off, good. I have a system already built that, an autopilot for submarines that it will pitch and it will also maintain ballast. And it also follows the contour of the ground, so instead of me having to babysit this, I can actually go away and do something else, and this will follow the contours of the ground, so that as, say you set 100-meter depth, it will stay at 100 meters if it's 150. If it goes to 120, if it goes to 80, it's going to contour and say, hey, you can't have that, you're going to hit the bottom. And it will give you whatever it can get. And if the contour goes back down again below what you set, it will follow it down. And we are going 50 knots right now. I'm thinking about rounding out the front a little bit more. I'll lose some of my space, but I might do it. See, there's a fish stuck on the front. And then it will, see how it rolls as you turn? That's natural. That's what should happen. And then you do need to increase your pitch just like an airplane because you're changing your resultant lift vector. So as you bank, you need to pull the nose back to maintain depth in this case. And then everybody's like wants to do these like emergency blows, which I get, but you also can use the engines to get yourself out of there too. But I think this will be a fun toy to play with. Having a home ship that can do, having a home submarine. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's coming along. Yeah, I wanted to have it kind of be large and wide like this, but I think I'm gonna round it out a little bit. So let's work on that, see if I like it. So I lose a substantial amount of space, but I should be all right. Let's do, how do I want to do this? Let's go. Let's round it out, see how I like it. I kind of like the Akulas. The Russian Akulas. I still want it to be pretty broad, but not as broad as it was. Be careful cutting out all this ballast too. So some people are still struggling to get the correct block, and it's a difference between ratios, and you got to look at the next block. So if you look, this is a 2x1, or we could do a 2x2. As you can see, it looks like that right up there. And the ratio is going to be, so for example, why does a 4x4 turn into 1x1s? Well, it's 4 divided by 4 is 1, so it's going to go to 1. 2x4, 2 divided by, or 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2, so it goes into a 2. You know, so you kind of look at it that way too, and figure out what the next block is going to be. I don't want it going to 4s yet. That's the problem here. I'm going to go in with... yeah, I don't know how I want to do this. I don't want to lose too much interior space either because I kind of need that. It's going to be easier to do this, I think. It's going to round it instead of being squared as much. I got to make sure I don't screw up anything I need, but I think I'll be all right here. I kind of like that. It looks very brutal and beasty, and I want to keep that character of it too, so I got to kind of make sure I don't ruin the way I want it to look either. I want it to have kind of that, almost kind of like a whale look almost. I'm going to finish this off, and then I can always move it a little bit once it's kind of done. Shit, I gotta watch where this is joining up in the back too, so I gotta be careful of this. So I gotta really watch this here. I'm just gonna duplicate this side, move it over there because I'm having issues already over there. Keep working. We'll see if I like it or not. So I need to make sure I have enough space for all the things I want inside too. Not a huge fan of the join line either, so we'll see. That's not what I want. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. If I could do this bullshit too, I'm gonna have to redo maybe the bottom. So we're gonna see. Probably be alright, but we'll see. I really don't want to have to redo the bottom, so I might just stick with it being wide and bulky. You know, moving it left or right one should fix some of this, but I don't really like it the way it is either. I liked it the way it was, so probably leaning more towards going back to where it was. I like it less than I did before. Screw it, we're going back the way it was. I don't like it. I like it like this. Yeah, I like it the way it is. Kind of got a cooler vibe. I don't want to lose the interior space. Could try rounding more out here, but then I fuck up the whole line on the side here. Yeah, it's tough to taper because the game doesn't allow me to taper as gradually as I would like, so that becomes a problem. So let's see what we can do. Shouldn't have to pull these to infinity. That would be really helpful. I was trying to grab a 2. Where's the 2? There it is. That's gonna fuck up this zone here, but that I can fix. Starting there. Okay. See how the join looks. If the join doesn't look right, it's not gonna. Doesn't matter. If the back looks that way, I want it. It's not shaping up too bad. Let's see if we keep going and not piss myself off here. Alright, let's see. I need... Problem is I gotta go 2s here. I fuck up the 2s. Yeah. I gotta do is come around the back here and start here and work there. Can't round out too much because of the way the back is. I gotta go 2s on this, so I gotta reconvert this to 2s. And that works. Try to see if I can get back up to 4s over here and cut the transition down, but we'll see. If this fucking thing will just pull, I'll be in good shape, but yeah, we'll work with that in a second, see what I can do. I don't know, I'm kind of starting to like it. We'll see. See when it leaves me. See if we can't fix this here. Do that, we'll be in good shape. Could you stop with the bullshit, please? Thanks. Stop with the bullshit. Go where I want you to. There you go. I like it. Alright, good. Starting to like that. That's starting to come along. Problem is kind of the way I built it. We lose a ton of front space, but I think we'll be fine. That's not going to work there. I got to convert that off. All right, let's work this, see if I can get this to join up on a 4. Two's too abrupt. We got to do a 4. How far are we from the elevator? Well, we're still a good ways back, so we're all right there. That should work. All right. Shit. What are we gonna do there? I'm gonna cut that anyways. Okay, that's fine. They could go to 8s. That would be great, I think. If they could go to 8 buys, that would finish a lot of our issues with blocks. I'm gonna play with this area here, but Shapen's coming along here. Still want it to have that brutal look, and so it's, as long as it keeps that, I'm happy. Kind of want to keep it also having kind of a whale look, so it's also partly on the plan here. Let's get this problems area fixed up here. Gonna be a problem in here. One little problem area here I gotta fix. is problematic. Yeah, we got a problem there. See what I can work with. We'll keep moving. That was me not counting properly in the beginning. So watch this here. Can get the bind up. That's fine. Needs to be 2 1s is what that needs to be. Running into problems here as well. Yeah, it's gonna screw that whole area up there too. Jesus Christ. Can you not flick the camera around, please? It's always hard going 2 to 2 to 2 to 2, so I'm gonna see if I can fix that there. like to get off of these one by ones, but I gotta find a place where I can join it up, and so I'm trying to see, can I do it here? I gotta watch. This is right where this screws my elevator, so I gotta be careful here. Starts to screw my elevator, I'm really not gonna be thrilled, so. Yeah, I'd have to go out more for that to work. Can I get that to work is the question. If I go up a level, I might be able to get this to work. From here. Putting me out of line is the problem. Oh, shit. need this to go to 2s. All right, I think I'm going to save up. This is the hull redesign. And I will work on this later because I need a break. All right, guys, let's save that. Let's save a backup. All right, thanks, guys, for watching. If you like it, give it a like. If you're new and you enjoyed it, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next one. Bye.